welcome back everybody for the second match of tonight, and T1 is extending their winning streak. Picking up a win up against Afreeca Freecs, T1 is showing a lot of game style shift, and this time around they tried a different comp. With a lot of ADC champions getting banned out, they were going for the Senna bottom lane, and the last pick was Lucian. It seems like, depending on the situation, Lucian can be a flex pick going for top lane and bottom lane. For Afreeca Freecs, it's really hard to tell the concept or the theme of their draft because outside of the pick and ban, they made so many mistakes in terms of gameplays. Yeah, Afreeca did manage to get a decent pick. However, their execution was really off. Seth kind of wasted his flash for a couple of times, and Seth was not able to show any meaningful combo with his Nimbus Clock. The game was pretty much over in a very early phase, and so let's take a look where Afreeca Freecs started to falter. It seems like all 5 players are not on the same page. Most of their moves are really questionable. Volibear was able to zone out Seth, and Seth was not getting any leash, so he had to solo the red buff. And Volibear popped the Scryer's Bloom, and they had vision on the Golem camp. Because they spotted the Golems are moving, they had the information that Seth was in that camp. So Volibear was rotating to the mid and bottom lane. However, the bottom duos of the Afreeca Freecs was going for a trade. Maybe because they saw the Senna's W going wide, but well, there was not much information or reason for them to commit for that play. With that loss, well, they were able to snowball all throughout the game, especially Zoe was also able to pop the flash out of Orianna. If Seth has rotated to the bottom Scuttle Crab, it could have been much better. Or maybe Seth could give the bottom laners the call that he's going for the Golem camp, so make sure to stay safe a little bit. Don't try to overextend during the laning phase while you have the information of Volibear. However, there was a double trouble for Afreeca Freecs as well. As they lost the Herald, they were feeling a little bit impetuous, so they went for a fight. Seth, he did not have his flash. Orianna also was not having his flash. And Akalia was also in a very far proximity, so he was not able to join that fight fast enough. And Lucian was able to pick up triple kills in this fight. Volibear is able to stay immune to some of the MCCs with his ultimate, so they have to be aware of the fact that he's really good at this kind of aggro juggling, but Afreeca Freecs, they weren't really playing at the best performance. They were being super emotional with that fight, so T1 was able to pick up a very easy win with that fight. Afreeca Freecs was feeling too much pressure, so they weren't really ready to commit for the place that they were looking for. Then let's check out who the player of the game is for game number 1. It was a very one-sided series coming out from T1, and Kana, the solo kill machine, was able to pick up the POG 8, 0 and 5 and 1000 POG points. But Pawn thinks that Cuz did a fantastic job. He also voted for Cuz. Well, everything was set up by Cuz actually, so Pawn is also flustered by this POG result. So there are some players that makes the plays, and there are some players that picks up everything in the end. And Kana, maybe his performance was outstanding, so he was able to win this POG, but indeed, Cuz was also one of the main characters on the side of T1, setting up all the plays for his teammates. And it was a very meaningful victory over to Lucian as well, a very flawless performance as well, so definitely Hana also deserves this POG. And now we saw that early fed Lucian is super destructive till the end of the game. So Kana is also gaining fast on BDD with his POG points, and he picked up 8 votes out of 12. And yet some fantastic husband and wife synergy coming out from Lucian and Senna as well, and it's time to move on to game number 2.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, for the translation of the analyst desk. Once again, as we move into game number 2, we here on the desk completely agree with Pon. Oh my goodness, how do you get...
A bit dull.
Yeah,
they both said it.
Yep.
Ooh, it's Jelly.
Okay. So Ben's taking some time out. The cullings to the back of the head obviously caused some distress. So Jelly's going to make his way in. And look, I was never really down on Jelly, to be honest. I thought that he was always okay.
Yeah, no, he's a good player.
Yeah, but Mystic and Ben, of course, they've been playing together for a really long time.
Yeah.
Started over in WE all those many moons ago. So maybe just wanting to go for a little bit of extra synergy there. But now, Jelly's going to be joining the roster, and let's see whether we see something other than Nautilus in the bottom lane. If they put Jelly in and he plays Nautilus, I'm going to be very upset.
He is a Nautilus player. I think there's a decent chance he could play the Nautilus. But yeah, about the Pog vote, I mean, we said earlier there was an example where there could be like different opinions about, you know, how to vote for Pog.
Yeah.
This was not. This was, I think, the most egregious time where it was like, let's vote for the player that did the most damage and got the kills.
This guy,
to be very,
he's got the cool scoreline.
To be completely honest, that did not make any sense at all.
Yeah,
for me. So I am a little bit angry. But either way, we are getting into game number 3, and or not game 3. This is game 2.
This is game 2. It might be the final game of the series, though. So
could happen.
I guess maybe we just skipped a game 2 that didn't exist. That's not true because they've switched sides. So it's still taking a while to figure out this last ban, or second ban.
Wow.
Orianna.
Look at Fly. He's like, what? I play like 18 different champions.
And also, his most played is not Orianna, actually.
I mean, he had a lot of good shockwaves in this game, so I guess there's that. But if they don't ban Volibear, I'm going to be unhappy.
To say the least.
I'm already unhappy.
Yep, well, Olaf is going to be...
No, Olaf ban, it's like the most obvious thing in the world that they want to first pick Volibear.
T1 will ban it. They will. There's no way that they can.
Incoming set ban.
Oh, if it's... I might be upset. Bard ban. Oh. I like that. They're trading Volibear for set. Great. That worked really well for Afreeca in game 1. Look.
Now I know how LS feels.
Yeah.
Like sitting here like, oh, what do I even say?
Okay.
So you take away Orianna, which is Zoe's ban, or counter, I guess, and then you pick set. I don't think the set is going to go into the jungle, I would imagine, but I suppose there's still a chance that Cuz is like, let me show you how to play this matchup.
I actually like set in the mid lane more than any other lane these days.
Yeah.
But it's going to be the Zoe, so set can go top, he can go support, and he can go jungle, so it is still a triple flex.
Yeah.
As the Syndra going to be locked away, that is going to be Fly's choice.
Fly's like, okay, you don't want to play my Orianna, I'm going to play...
Another orb champion.
Another Orianna, like,
yeah.
Another one that does well into Zoe and is a control mage that requires Luden's Echo. Like, it's the same champion.
Well, Afreeca's comp is already way better by like a million years. They have an identity they can pick really easily throughout the mid game with Ashe and Syndra, and they have a lot of priority in the jungle coming out through that Volibear. As T1 thinking about what they want to do. Now, this could be the set funnel for like the farming set in the bottom lane with Senna alongside. But, you know, could still be a whole lot of other things. Could also be farming Senna with set support. Have to see. T1 now to ban some things away.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Teddy on Senna twice in a row. There were other options for him to go to. Maybe he's not super comfortable on Jhin, as Jhin is another popular pick nowadays. Jhin isn't ultra strong. It just feels like a lot of the other AD carries have eaten some nerfs recently, and Jhin is good in lane, so we see it up against these range champions that have come back into the meta very often. But Senna, with a large amount of range herself, can hold up that lane quite well, so Teddy's going to go down that path instead.
Lucian to be banned away here, not wanting to see that one out of Canna again. As Pantheon to be taken away, denying the Ashe Pantheon combo. Jelly was definitely a bit of an aggressive player in his time. I always liked his Blitzcrank, personally. Probably not going to play that one here today. Could certainly be an option.
Still a chance.
There is a chance.
He's going up against Ashe Syndra. I don't, you know, that set's going to be in a little bit of an awkward spot, but...
Oh no, Jelly can't play Nautilus.
Oh wait, no,
You're the other way around.
I was the other way around. Never mind. Still, it's okay against Zoe,
yeah.
but
works very well against Zoe actually, because she goes back to a pretty predictable location.
Yeah.
Senna as well is relatively grabbable, even with her movement speed buff, as that's the Naught. So it is going to be farming Senna again. Worked well for Teddy last time around. As Camille's available, she may as well be picked, to be honest.
Yeah, thankfully they banned Mordecai
Yeah.
to leave Camille. Definitely a little bit confusing, but of course it is Keen, who does like blind picking Mordekaiser and is a fantastic Mordekaiser player. But looks like he might want to go down the Jace path instead. Interesting.
More comfortable blind pick, I guess, if Canna's been putting time into things like Fiora and Jax, can certainly make the matchup a little bit more inconvenient, because of course then you're relying on different gank options. As the Thresh to be locked in for Jelly. One hook champion traded out for another. I mentioned the Blitzcrank, didn't mention the Thresh. As Effort once again going to be hovering Nasus because he likes it.
How about, you may not have heard of him.
All right.
Renekton.
Ooh, I'd hate it.
Yeah, I don't know about the Renekton to the
It's
Jace.
not a good matchup at all.
But he's
oh
play
god,
it.
he's going to play it anyway. Yeah. Okay.
I swear I've got a read on these Renekton picks, man. I don't know. Just
Do you need
players
a read?
in the LCK are just
Is
like...
it 5th pick? Has he been banned?
Is it red side 5th pick? I must pick Renekton. Oh,
and
boy.
also, like, T1 have picked set jungle into Volibear again. Like, Cuz knows exactly what happens in this matchup. It's not fun. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they can just read what's going to happen. Theoretically, Closer should be able to have some control of the mid lane, but actually, that's not how it should work on paper, right? Syndra should have the shove. Keen should have the shove, because it's a better matchup for the Jace. I mean, yes, Renekton in an all-in can do some work, but he needs Set to be there, and Set takes 400 years to farm his jungle. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I feel like this is an odd draft.
Yeah, the set definitely feels like maybe they just like when he 1v1s with the Volibear, like some kind of vacuum, you know, if we bump heads in the jungle, like a solo queue type of counter idea. Other than that, I mean, the Volibear runs in, you take him out with your Superplex. And I suppose that's the other team fight idea that you can go with, just to counter the engage in a way. As, yeah, Renekton makes his way back. And so they're going to have a pretty beefy front line here for Closer and Teddy to try to do the majority of the carrying.
See whether it is going to work. I have some apprehension that sometimes a team is just better, and T1 are often a team that's been able to get past a odd draft. But I mean, this is some scary stuff to deal with on the Afreeca side. Even the bottom lane, right? Like Thresh Ashe is going to be pretty safe. Also going to have a lot of harassment options. as the Clippity Clops was definitely fun. Imagine playing Senna Hecarim. You could both canter to lane.
Yeah, that's true. Doesn't Ashe also have a...
She has a skin with a horse too, I think.
Yeah, with like a regular horse. Senna's is like some kind of machine horse that comes out of her gun.
It's like Death Horse.
Yeah.
But feels a little bit like the Headless Horseman skin that you can use on Hecarim. I believe that was a Hallow's End event. So you may not be able to get it right now, but it will be in the shop again.
We need more horse skins.
Indeed. More riding.
Yeah.
Mounts have actually come into League of Legends, apparently. You just have to buy the right skin.
Mm-hmm. And Fly, I think he's just a fan of Scorch. Takes it every game, from what I can tell. We also have Jace with Scorch, which is a little bit less egregious. We see that a lot more often, as he's definitely a champion that loves to push his edges at level 1 and 2, even in pro play. So,
yep,
makes a little bit more sense. As very curious to see if Cuz can get the POG that was robbed from him in game number 1 by the counter, the reverse mirror matchup here in the jungle.
I mean, if R5 Renekton gets player of the game, I mean...
They're just trying to create like a narrative. It's like,
yeah.
oh, can he challenge BDD for the top spot?
I mean, I've actually had people, message saying like, yeah, but if the pro players are picking it, obviously Renekton's a good pick top lane. And I mean, it's just not true. It's an easy pick. So Renekton is an easy one to just go for if you have no other choices, right? Because in the early game, you can have a decent lane. That's a great hook by Jelly. Welcome back, my friend. Teddy down to 100. Not exactly where he wants to be. We'll be able to use the Piercing Darkness to get that health bar back up, but that message was well received on the bottom side. Jelly with his human form Thresh. Pretty cool.
Yeah, we got all the cool skins here in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Kana. Want to see what he can do here on the Renekton. We talked about Renekton being strong early and mid and trying to just bully a lane, but he's up against one of the biggest lane bullies himself in the Jace.
And yeah, massive lane disadvantage. You need ganks in order for this to work, but the fact that they've picked it and they know that they need ganks, that goes against everything, right? Because then you can predict exactly where the set is. Like, Keen should know that he's about to get ganked right now. Because that's how they win the game, right? Is if Hannah's strong. So he's going to try and taxi over to Cuz. Good face breaker there, and this is first blood oh so easily. And I don't know, man. Speechless.
Renekton! The power of Renekton shows itself once again.
I mean, that's how it's going to be good. if they make that play.
Yeah, I mean, Keen, he pulled kind of a Nuggery. This is something that Nuggery will do very often on blue side. And I feel like every team that plays against Damwon just sees that. They watch the tape and they're like, oh, we can just do that. And Set's a pretty good ganking jungler, right? Like, he's not amazing, but he can get in there in your face and face break and obviously do a little bit of a combo. And if he's with a laner that's got some CC alongside of it, it should make for an easy gank. And that's the perfect timing where Jace just wants to push in that final wave, and there's like 3 ranged minions left over. And you're like, I'm gonna back right after this one. That's when they're gonna get you the most, and that is a very common gank against a pushing Jace.
Ooh, Mystic getting a bit of decent damage onto effort there. Piercing Darkness not able to win out the trade or anything like that. Flying Closer, playing a little bit of Biffo, but you can see with the minion wave in the place that it is, it's going to be good news for the Syndra. Closer's just holding on to this one as long as he possibly can.
Trying to put on a little bit of a annoying freeze.
Now going to be going back. Spirit is over here. Closer moves on in. Pretty low. This is just going to be, okay, Cuz is actually going for it. Facebreaker does come down, good trouble bubble, but immediately the cleanse comes in. Stun onto Cuz. He's got a big shield though from the Haymaker Grit, and he will be absolutely fine. Still Closer's going to miss all of
you see those minions ignore Closers? Like, no, I must hit the turret.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in range. Closer's desperately trying to take them away with aggro, but he just can't, even when he's autoing them. looked a little bit strange. I think that landed, actually.
Yeah,
볼만.
it did
우리
too.
탑 게임 볼게.
We'll never know.
얼마다. 나이스.
He said
천천히
nice.
하면 이거 정글
He did.
캐리가 골배 아래 끼었어.
And he's spamming a lot of tab.
Volibear is definitely on the bottom side of the map, is what he was saying. Putting the back pings on the bottom scuttle crab.
Another hook gonna land.
Yeah,
Play
Jelly's
was
good.
pretty good. Yeah, Jelly's aggressive. I'll give you that much.
Yeah.
Certainly sacking a lot of his health bar here as he's running low on the consumables. So might need to spend some time. Get that health bar back up again.
Yeah. I love how he comes out here, immediately picks Thresh and just non-stop in the face of the enemy.
Yep.
Just pushing, he's like, put me back in, coach. Let me show you. But, I mean, in general, the Thresh is good into this bottom lane, so it makes sense that he did go for the pick. Now he's even trying to solo the Scuttle Crab. Look at this.
Oh, what a beast.
Chad.
Oh, there's the Ignite put down onto Fly for some reason. Closer not going for a kill or anything like that, but sometimes you got to send a message, and Ignite can do that. Maybe he's living his life in 2013, where you used to get 5 AD and AP from using Ignite.
Whoa. That's a blast from the past.
I'm not even sure he was alive.
Well,
I mean, he was. I think he was just like 4 or something like that. That's not true either. He was.
Yeah.
He was 12.
we don't do well with the math here on the.
Yeah. He might have actually been playing already. As he's losing trades here up against the Jace. Keen, of course, despite falling down early, still going to have a bit of control in this lane. But Kenner's not going to be as stifled when it comes to the farm. He has his Ninja Tabi completed. Now he's looking for a back. Has teleport available if he wants to.
Ooh, I thought they would maybe go for that dive, but I guess they don't know exactly where the set is, where he is here.
We know where he is now as he comes back around. That's the Unleash power as Closer. He's going to run away. Spirit looking to chase after him. There's the ulti. My God, the damage. Possibly overkill, but is going to secure it there onto Closer. And Keen, you can see fighting. Canna will take a turret shot. But that's all.
Yeah.
Now with Dominus.
Got the ult at Akana.
Still threatening.
Yeah, you can see Keen. See, this is how you play against a Renekton. That's that you are within kill range of. So Summit, maybe take a look at these VODs. And Jace normally has a better time. So here comes Spirit now. There's nothing really here for Kana.
Yep. Not going to be able to get the stun. Picks up the shield. Uses it immediately. I like that. Efficiency.
Yeah, surprisingly fast. I guess he's got tier 2 boots already. Up against the Jace. Makes sense.
Yep. Brown bags only onto Spirit right now. Wants to get a few extra points in that queue, I believe. And he's going to come back. And the ward is going to give Kana all of the knowledge. Spirit clears that one out. Once again, we're sort of looking to try and push forward. Cuz in the area. Gonna sweep it out. Knows that there's no vision. They are going to go for another engage. Okay, Dawning Shadow comes down. The boot back from Keen is now they're going to turn their attention to Spirit. Facebreaker comes in, and Spirit is going to be taken down. And maybe... No, Keen is going to survive for the moment. Flash out from Jelly. Throws out the lantern. Very nicely done to make sure that Fly isn't going to die. But still, I mean, this is just more kills going over towards the Renekton. I mean, it's going to be Cuz that's grabbing all of them. However, 2 assists is going to help this Crocodile stay relevant for longer in this game.
I'm voting for Kana. No, but yeah, definitely getting carried by Cuz up here on the top side, as this is something that Set is also really good at. Both Volibear and Set are really good at diving mid lane, and you can see that Closer. The bear is just so fast with Nimbus Cloak. Once you land that smite, it gets pretty intense. As Keen jumping in there might have been the thing that got him killed. Tries to boot back Kana.
He walks back in here trying to look for autos. Doesn't work as Mystic. Oh my God, the flash hook was so sick out of effort. That's going to proc his aftershock so he doesn't take any damage from the turret either. No snare to land, but damn, that looked cool. Straight out of a replay, straight into the action, Valdez.
Absolutely. Didn't really get to see how that one opened up, but there's no summoners here for Mystic. And yeah, Jelly not really able to help him out, so probably just got engaged upon by some of the other members that were down there and lost his life. T1 now 2,000 gold ahead at 10 minutes into the game. They're going to pick up the first Drake and be feeling pretty good about this one. in another bit of a jungle difference game. Although Spirit is, you know, he's pretty active on the map at least. He's getting around. He's not as behind as he was in game number 1. That is for sure.
I mean, he shouldn't be, though, right? Because it's the counter matchup. And we're already saying this is much better for Volibear. But unfortunately, for Afreeca, they just haven't had the Volibear anywhere on the map where he needs to be. He's been playing from behind, it feels like, this entire game. As Cuz goes for the Hex Flash over. We'll just get behind Mystic. As the timing with the arrow is so sexy. Out of Cuz, and that flash. Clean.
Absolutely.
Cleanse out bottom side. Is Teddy going aggressive? Teleport in from Canna. As I've seen this movie before. The playback comes in. That was a very, very interesting chain of events. But Dawning Shadow comes down. Double kill for Teddy. It's making Senna look like a hard carry, even at level 8. As I believe we've got another game that is looking a bit one-sided. Valdez, I had to choose my words a little bit carefully there.
It's a little bit of a boppening here.
Yeah.
In this game once again. And yeah, I mean, Cuz he was able to save the top side, the mid lane going pretty even. That was also a nice little dive out of Cuz there. And down in the bottom side, you can see that yeah, they're just trying to get aggressive here on a Teddy, but he has cleanse. He's never gonna die even if he gets hooked. They don't really account for the possibility of TPs coming in here, and with the 2 of them coming in, that did mean that we're both going to die. If it was only Kana, maybe they could have gotten away.
Yep, T1 will be able to grab this Rift Herald. You can see Afreeca not contesting it. They may have learned a little bit of a lesson or two from the previous game. This game's really gotten away from Afreeca. I think a lot of their players just look really off today. Not what you want to see out of the team that is certainly vying for position in the playoffs, as Cuz has the most gold in the game as jungle set. Apparently set jungle is the counter to Volibear. I take it all back.
And Renekton is just really high tier up in the top side.
Yeah, it's the hard counter to Jay.
Definitely pick him more often.
Yep, 100%.
What else can we say from results-based analysis?
It's when the Morellonomicon power spike comes in. We're going to see the best
we all got to rush
Closer.
Morellonomicon second.
Yeah.
Make sure you're getting that item. Although I think they both did it last game.
They did.
Spirit is just in so far deep in there. At least he's got some teammates this time.
Avoided nicely there by Canna. As turret plate's going to be coming down in 30 seconds time. But there's an inhibitor turret that has now taken a bit of damage from the minion wave, as Afreeca just did not go there. And they let outer and inner turret fall to the hands of Shirley. Actually, I believe it was Shelly. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Just a little bit late on the Shelly pickup this game.
Afreeca was like, well, we don't want to do what we did in game number 1. And T1 were smartly taking their time. This whole, you know, big-time rotation up to get the Rift Herald is, you know, it has pros and cons. And we don't see it as much nowadays.
Yeah, a lot of cons.
Yeah.
Feels like.
Well, if you can get it and win a team fight, then it feels good, but doesn't always work out that way, as there were a lot of plates taken in this game by both teams. You can see the top lane plates were all taken down by the Renekton.
So you can see, yeah, bottom lane was also taken there by Afreeca, so at least they were able to trade 1 back, but 2 turrets for 1. I can do that, man. I know I'm not very comfortable with mathematics, but I can do that one. Fly, the only one having a decent time here, but he's only ahead by about 100 gold. 80 carries, very, very close. But it's the jungle where things are absolutely out of control. And Cuz has just proven that he's way better than Spirit this game. Like, that's what he's been doing. This whole series.
Twice in a row now.
He's just been out jungling, yeah. So we're going to have a solo Pog interview with Cuz. Oh, wait, no, never mind.
Yeah. Still molding.
Yeah, absolutely.
It hasn't faded. Well, Afreeca, this is kind of the Afreeca thing, you know. For some reason, when they go up against really strong teams, they come out here with guns ablazing, and they're trying to get in your face, and they're playing pretty recklessly. And Stronger teams are just not going to let you do that. They're going to shut you down. It's exactly what T1 has done today.
Well, Closer looking for a bubble as there's the engage. Spirit jumps onto Cuz. Haymaker going to keep himself alive as depth charge comes in, but doesn't get a lot of value. Teddy with a fair bit over the top of Afreeca is now Mystic getting chunked. Big paddle star from Closer. He needs to keep landing these. As Jelly's going to get hit by one as well. Good. Okay, ulti comes in. The showstopper into the backline. As Cuz finds all the value possible. And now Closer looking for the cleanup. Sparkles everywhere. Bounces over. Finds Mystic as Jelly is eventually able to take him down. It's in fact Keen that grabs the kill. Now Canna is going to jump onto Jelly. The Spirit is behind the turret. Teddy goes golden. Keen should be able to find this one. Oh, not actually going to happen as Teddy limping away. Not even close, baby. As T1 will get out. It is a 2-for-3 trade, I believe, as Effort has just respawned. But T1 will be able to grab the Infernal Drake. And they're losing an entire minion wave top lane.
Yeah. It's going to be a nice little Infernal Drake here for their team. Obviously, pretty much all their members, but especially the top 4 can use that Infernal Drake very nicely. As we're going to take a look at this fight here and see that Mystic from the get-go. Perfectly aimed by Closer. That's just going to open it up. You see Mystic immediately goes way far back. And a nice little hook from Jelly, but then you've got this Cuz. Cuz went a little bit too ham here, okay? He's been having a good game. He's really fed. It ends up working out, though. And he's able to get everybody super low. You can see Closer's kind of the cleanup crew, as Zoe often is.
Okay.
Yeah, Keen was really the only saving grace for his team. As, yeah, because after all of that, he was able to judge his power level. And even though he did go pretty ham, it was worth it for his team. He was able to carry another team fight. It was essentially Closer and Cuz high-fiving and getting in there.
Well, now we've got a Randuin's Omen complete by Cuz. So he's going to have a little bit more CC available to him. And T1 now moving towards the Baron area, but I mean, it's 18 minutes into the game. Still 2 minutes before that one's going to be coming up. 9-3 is the kill score, close to 4,000 gold in the lead. T1 it's looking like a pretty clean 2-0, and do you know what this means? It means T1 will be equal third with Gen.G. Game scores aligned.
That they
Gen.G
do.
fell to Sandbox in our first match of the day.
I guess after that it would probably be head-to-head.
Yeah, it should be. I don't know whether that's actually going to be listed on... Wait, hang on a second. So they beat Gen.G, and so that, yeah, we're even head-to-head. We're 1-1.
Yeah, well...
It might come down to then, like, game time and stuff like that in order to break it. But we'll
or just a best of one.
Yeah, it might be tiebreakers. Who knows?
We had some tiebreakers in towards the end of the season, so we might get there once again this time around.
Yeah, having a look at the schedule. And Gen.G, who are they up against next? Humble Life. Might be that good old Gen.G get into third place anyway, Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, T1 have to play against Storm1 and DRX.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. It is going to be definitely a tougher ask. But if T1 continue to play as impressively as they have been, then it might be difficult for DRX and Storm1. Probably more so DRX based on current form, right? DRX have certainly looked a bit more up and down, whereas Storm1 just look unstoppable.
Yeah, Storm1 do look like the one team that look like they're in world shape, you know?
Yep. Arrow is going to connect onto the Nautilus here, as the hook does land onto Effort. He's going to pop his stone plate and get out, though. And nothing is going to come of it. Sacrifice a fair bit of the health bar of their support. But you can see the T1 members just line up for the Piercing Darkness. And they get healed back up, ready to siege once again. And they can siege very well with this composition as Spirit. Going to find Cuz, but they're not too worried about that one. And here's the dive. Massive CC is Fly, the first one to fall down. Playback onto Cuz, but he gets the face breaker. There's the showstopper into the backline. Spirit trying to be the big bear. Does get himself the crocodile, but unfortunately, the fight felt like it had already been lost. As only 2 from Afreeca remain. Be close to taking a lot of damage, as Mystic does do a fair bit of work, but Still, they're just playing with a bit of fire here on T1's side, feeling themselves as they only lose Canna. Now they're looking for Soul Point in a minute's time.
Yeah, 0-3 Ash right now. Mystic doesn't care. He's sitting there autoing against so much danger as, wow, Effort just puts the carry pants on, puts the big point pants on and says, I'm going to get in there, I'm going to engage. Has a great hook, Cuz with the follow-up here, very nicely done. As, what?
What? Yeah, I know exactly why Mystic was there. The ward.
Maybe he got, yeah, kind of teleported behind him. So did Closer, actually. Both teleports down. So he was pretty far up the lane, but I suppose that that ward was the teleport ward that he did not see.
I mean, to Mystic's credit, he's ahead 40 CS.
Nice.
So there we go. That's what you get from overextending so incredibly far. 6,000 gold exactly, the lead for T1. Spirit will be able to take a Gromp, but he'll take a bubble for it. And still Chunk. Banshee's Veil complete for Closer. So he's out of the woods entirely. Now we're just going to go back. I mean, it's a really cool back animation. But that's the most interesting thing on the map, is dragons being taken from Cuz.
Had a lot of Cloud Souls today.
Yeah, it's been pretty cloudy. I feel like we should be having more Ocean Souls when it's like monsoon season.
Yeah. Cloud Soul, Ocean Soul. Those are both okay.
Yeah.
We had one Mountain Soul that got denied for a little bit and then ended up not mattering, as Mystic was pretty far down. And yeah, double TP comes in here. He's like, well, I'm just dead.
Yeah, he is really dead. He had Flash and he had Cleanse, so I actually respect the fact that he held on to both of them. There just wasn't a way out of that one. As, ooh, I thought we were back into the replay again. Not going to happen. Mystic learned from his previous experience. Double lethality complete for Keen. He's got his Dustblade and his Ghostblade. It's just not looking as good as the Black Cleaver and Blade of the Ruin King that Canna has put together for himself, despite the CS advantage being in favor of the Jace. Bit of support Renekton syndrome happening here, as the 0, 1, and 9 scoreline would suggest.
What do you mean? I'm voting for Kana.
I mean, someone is. Not that much.
Probably. Would not surprise me even a little bit. As, yeah, he's just going to come down here to the bottom side. Try to chip away at this turret. T1, kind of same as game number 1, where they get ahead, but they're not going to make any rash decisions or try to force anything too hard unless they see a very obvious play.
Smart. This minion wave is going to crash on the turret. That will be the outer that falls in favor of T1. Inner turret in mid lane also going to go down. Feels like T1 just has more players on the map than Afreeca do right now. And as far as stats concerned, I guess it is partially true. It's just a measly pickaxe to complement Mystic's build. And Teddy's getting very close towards that rapid fire cannon. T1 just rotating around. Arrow is going to connect, but Effort probably pretty happy to tank that one up as the flash forward. The hook is going to come back, and Effort is going to fall. Now T1 are on the run. Spirit looking for more. Showstopper right into the backline, despite almost one shot by this mega fed set. Spirit has to flash away, and this is 4v5, ladies and gentlemen, but it doesn't look like a bubble connects onto Mystic. And Closer goes golden, denies the unleashed power. And the Shock Blast isn't going to connect. Some low health bars, but T1 still push Afreeca out without their support.
Yeah, this game is quickly turning into Cuz and Closer kind of competing to see who can do more damage at the end of the day. Cuz just bops this guy on the head, as I like what Afreeca are doing from behind. They're like, well, it's Effort. He's a big body. We can definitely get the arrow onto him. Let's see what we can do. But then they pushed a little bit too far. They're like, okay, we could probably win 5v4. Yeah, and so take a look at how much damage Fly took. Overall was way too much. And Closer was doing some insane stuff, and despite there's a reason why he's playing so much Zoe.
Also, Teddy's center geometry that he's been doing here as well. You saw him like standing perpendicular to the team fight so that he could line up his teammates with the opponents at the same time. Was actually really sick. I think that certainly helped because, of course, you get a big shield as well as doing that damage. It's a big health swing in a team fight like that where it did look like effort initially was caught out.
Yeah.
So there's some good play, and I can't believe that this is the first time that we've seen Teddy on center. Just, I guess they've been playing it in scrims, but haven't seen a reason to bring it out on the stage just yet.
Yeah, the ever-developing AD carry meta will certainly take a look at this and say, maybe we should start playing some more Senna as well.
Damages received. Renekton doing Renekton things.
So many damages.
That's a lot of damages. 21.4k damages.
Where does all that damage just come from? I don't even... Right as I said that, the Korean casters hysterically laughed. I'm like, oh boy.
Yep. Well, maybe they thought the damages was funny too.
Yeah, it was a lot. And yeah, T1 just waiting here for the Cloud Soul once again. Actually getting a little bit aggressive, trying to get in there and deny as much vision as possible. This is kind of like classic League of Legends play. Front ahead.
I like it. The suffocation method, denying all of the camps as well. That's why you're seeing close to an 8,000 gold lead in favor of T1 right now. It's just not as much gold on the map that's available to Afreeca. Infinity Edge desperately trying to be picked up by Mystic, but he's not going to have it in time for this Cloud Drake. So T1 is going to be able to take it.
Just waiting on this one. Closer picks up the Ignite. He has also Teleport and Cleanse. He's got a whole...
He's got a bevy of
things. Yeah. And yeah, just gonna casually take this down. Doesn't look like Afreeca wants a challenge here or anything like that. Just hoping that maybe Mystic can carry later on in the game. But that's really their only out in this one, it feels like, as everybody's getting more and more tanky, so the Syndra that built relatively defensively with the Banshee's Veil is not going to get too happy. The Lethality Jace is also going to be outscaled by items. I mean, they have a lot of burst damage, that's for sure, but it's still not looking good as this game comes along.
Absolutely. I just feel like it's so crazy that Cuz has performed so extraordinarily well on the set. It's just putting on a clinic in one matchup and then the reverse.
Yeah. It feels like he almost did it on purpose.
Yeah, right? It's just a confidence play. But I'd expect to play like that out of Spirit, honestly.
Yeah.
Not out of Cuz. Cuz often much more reserved, but it's just what they wanted in their comp. Worked out very, very nicely. As the third serrated Dirk comes in for Keen. We're starting to see a fair bit of armor. Cuz has 2 armor items now. And if he can just showstop Fly, then I mean, who does damage to it? Only the Jace and Ashe have that availability, so plenty of armor just to stop that one from happening. It's a really cool hat that Closer has picked up for himself. I see no book. Brilliant.
That's good. Nice little change up. Looks like he went for the Banshee's Veil instead, as there certainly is a lot of pick on the side of Afreeca, so I suppose that's how he got tricked into not getting the Morellos.
Yep, probably wants a Zhonya's as well. Won't have that one available just yet, nor will he be able to find any on the floor, because Fly hasn't built one either. See whether he can collect one from a random drop or something like that. Is T1 just going to start off the Baron, but Hawkshot does spot that one out. So this is done with full vision for Afreeca. Canna taking some popcorn chicken. Bear against Crocodile action. Now T1 feel like they've baited Afreeca in like they want to. You can see they are so healthy, and they are just keeping it leashed. Afreeca can't actually see the health bar. They get a glimpse of it. As Cuz is going to hop on out. Showstopper available. Canna finds the backline. Keen in trouble. The big Crocodile goes golden, but there's the arrow. It is going to connect, but it connects onto Evan as the Showstopper gets into the back again. And Fly has to flash out of position. Teddy flashes after him. This is going to be the ace as Spirit, the last one to fall down. And I think that T1 don't need to worry about a Baron. I think they can just win the game.
Yep, they're going to do that right now. They're going to push down the top lane. Oh, no, they're going to go mid. They have more minions there. As Effort nearly dies, but he will survive. At the end of the day, T1 kind of smacking them with their wallets. As the Cuz player of the game, hopefully he gets redeemed here in game number 2. I would be very sad if he didn't get one today, as he just outclassed Spirit in pretty much every way in both games. So
Yeah.
good to see it from Cuz. Definitely a good look as he has struggled a little bit here in Summer, but certainly is back as GG. That will be game number 2. T1 with the clean 2-0 tonight.
Very clean, very quick series, and honestly, it felt like both of these games were over extremely early. Really, really early. I think it was 7 minutes in this game, and that fight around the Herald would have been around 8 to 9 minutes in game number 1. Afreeca really looking like a shadow of their former selves, not showing us too much to be excited about. Certainly going to be something that, you know, KT are looking at. I believe Sandbox out of the race has got the bottom lane of T1. Posing. The blue hair is crazy. It's crazy. But it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's electric blue.
It's a different blue than we've had so far. A lot of like purplish blues, a lot of dark blues.
Yeah.
It's the first.
Blue, gray.
Yeah.
See a lot of.
Definitely Effort's been mixing it up. Quite a lot. But yeah, I think it's now KT and Afreeca that are in the race for playoffs. KT still need a bit of a miracle. Although Solo One Prince is their next opponent, and that should be a possibility. Their final one is going to be Damwon. So
they're playing against Afreeca.
They are.
Which maybe if Afreeca lose every game from here on out, could have a big effect over if they can win one and take one away from Afreeca.
There's 9 game score between them, though. So they can possibly lose I mean, yes, theoretically it can happen, but it's going to be a big swing. But still, KT, we'll see whether they can do it up against an Afreeca that look like they are a little bit hamstrung.
Yeah.
Might be a way that they could get something together, that beating Damwon is... I mean, that's going to be their final test, so that's going to be exciting to watch. But whether it's actually going to yield anything is yet to...
Every game that Damwon plays against anyone who is not T1, Genji, or DRX looks like it's...
I mean, they played
LCK
against DRX.
Challenger.
And that's what it looked like, Valdez. Like, this team looks so much better. It was only Genji that were able to, you know, trip them up for one game, and then it felt like Damwon just went back to being Damwon after that as well.
Yeah.
Which I think tells us even more. Because if they can lose and then come back to the same thing, it's even more scary.
That is true. I don't think anyone's... anybody's sleeping on Damwon anymore. I think everybody's kind of saying, okay, they're the real deal. And this T1 versus Afreeca matchup, by the way, this could be the first best of 3 of the playoffs, right? The wild card best of 3 between 4th and 5th place. So could have been a little bit of a preview. And if it looks anything like this for Afreeca, that's certainly going to be a little bit unfortunate for them.
Based on today, I mean, I feel like the first round's going to be Genji versus Afreeca. Or Genji versus a very reinvigorated KT that somehow managed to beat Damwon.
Could be.
I think that's very likely. It's looking at the moment like Afreeca versus Genji is going to be our first playoff. As God, Cuz was so good this game. He was so good this whole series. I feel like he pulled a Canyon. You know, Canyon had that one series where he just like did everything absolutely right.
Yeah.
You know, Cuz has done the same thing here today, and Cuz doesn't do that quite as often. As he's certainly copped a lot of flack from the community.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's good to see him turning it around here against Afreeca. Maybe he can build some confidence from here going into playoffs and going into next week for T1, where they have to, again, play against Damwon on Thursday.
Yep.
And then DRX on Sunday. That's a rough week, man. That's not going to be easy. But imagine if they come ahead in that week. That would be huge hype for T1. So if you're a T1 fan, definitely look forward to next week for their games.
I mean, that's when we learn everything, right? I think everyone's looking forward to those series because what have we learned from then taking on the western side of the bracket, right? I think they've now taken on every team on the west. Since Closer has joined the roster, we need to learn more as we're going to listen in to how T1 finished off this game.
Focus Ash.
탑으로 가자. 탑텔 타라 이거. 탑텔 타라.
Take teleport in the top lane.
여기 잡았냐?
Let's end it.
나이스.
나이스.
I think that was Effort that
이게
was
나야.
calling for that.
여롱로.
여령라.
나이스.
나이스하고.
여롱로 한 번만. 한 곳으로 가.
여롱.
I think the only thing that Closer said was nice.
요 정도.
그게 너야.
I don't know what that was.
나이스.
그게 너야.
I don't know what they're
I feel
saying.
like that's a meme that we don't know.
It's definitely a meme that we don't know.
뚜레시 끌어서 죽일래?
No, that's not Dodongo. We don't.
아니 잡아도 되는데 이게 뭐 잡을 스킬이 없다 근데 이번에.
우리 좀 세긴 하다.
Maybe we'll
잡기
learn from
빡세긴 해,
Ji-sun.
이거.
Maybe she'll tell
나
us.
상우보다 어시가 많아 그냥.
나오는데.
상우보다 어시가 많아. 나 이거
안돼 이거.
아 재미없어 나 끝낼래.
We're here alone.
아비.
They're just like, no, I don't want to die. Let's end it. And yeah, I'm surprised actually that Set didn't do more damage, but I guess that the consistent damage from Teddy alongside of the insane damage from the Fed Zoe was a lot more than pretty much everybody else in the game.
But you gave player of the game to Kana, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if he deserved it for game 1, I mean, what's the difference here in game 2, right? Like,
I mean, he did far less damage, I guess, in this game.
yeah, I'm still mauling.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. However, the Renekton pick worked because they made the one play that they had to in order to make it work, right? The most telegraphed top gank that needed to happen because Jace is always shoving in. That's where Spirit needed to be for a counter gank. Use the fact that they have a whole bunch of minions piled up, they get a double kill, and then Afreeca wins the game. They've won it in like 4 minutes.
Hey.
And it is finally going to be Cuz. That's his back-to-back player. That's his first player of the game.
Unanimous as well. So seems like everybody finally got together and did the right thing.
Yeah, maybe they listened to Pawn from the last analyst test segment. They felt a little bit guilty. I hope that's the case. Maybe we've got a bit of learning that's being done here.
Either way, he really was the main carry of this team. He was everywhere. I mean, top side multiple times, mid lane going for the dive, when bot side even. He was just everywhere on this map. He made all the plays happen, even in the team fights. We're talking lane and phase, we're talking team fight phase. Just really awesome set jungle play that you really rarely see.
Also, huge shout out to Teddy and the way that he played this center for his first day playing center ever. It's some of the best center positioning that we've ever seen. That was...
That was really scary.
They don't want me talking about center, apparently. No, stop.
The Dark Overlord said,
we need to talk more about Renekton.
It's enough.
Yes.
We only vote for Kana here. We have angered them.
Wow. Okay, well, let's throw it over to Ji-sun and see whether she gets terrified as well as we have the interview.
And we'll be here from Kana and Cuz from T1, taking down Afreeca Freecs 2-0. 1,000 POG points, Kana. How do you feel? I think I've been doing interviews a lot. It feels nice and happy that we got a clean 2-0 win tonight. Back-to-back interview with Kana and Cuz. How do you feel? I saw the POG votes and happy that I got a unanimous vote over to me in the game number 2. And I'm happy that I was able to execute the plays that I planned. Well, out of 12 votes for Cuz in game 2. And this was Teddy's first Senna game in the summer split, and also Lucian over to Kana. Is that a new strategy for the playoffs? We've said this every time, and we are always practicing every possible picks. So I hope people just don't think that we're kind of team that doesn't really play Senna or other picks. And speaking of the picks, I want to ask you about Lilia because Spirit said he's going to play it in this series. I can also play Lilia, so we didn't really care much. And whenever a new champion comes out, we always do experiments with it, so I hope our fans are not worried about it. Cuz, how do you rate this champion currently? I played Lilia from time to time on solo queue and I carried a lot of games. I think it's a really good pick, so you can look forward to it. Are we gonna see it on competitive games? Every champion is viable. Typical players interview quotes coming out. And Kana. So, you played Lucian. And that was not a flex pick Lucian, that was the last pick coming in. from the side of T1 in a very later phase of the ban. A lot of top picks were banned out, and I practiced Lucian a lot recently on solo queues and scrims, and I was quite confident in this pick, so I told my coaching staff that I wanted to play Lucian a lot during the scrims. And you did the most damage on Lucian, and you are the only players on the side of T1 that didn't die once. So who plays Lucian better, Kana or Teddy? Teddy, well, he's definitely a good Lucian player, but for the top Lucian pick, I think I'm better than Teddy. What do you think, Cuz? I think Kana has been performing really well on top Lucian. So for top Lucian, I think Kana is really good. And I've never saw him playing ADC yet, but well, speaking of ADC, I think Teddy will be definitely the OP player. In game number 2, at the voice com, we heard that after you got the first blood, you stated that, well, it's gonna be a jungle carry game. I mean, I was definitely confident, but outside of that, if I kind of tell my players that I'm gonna carry, I knew that I can kind of get rid of the burdens of my teammates. So I do that really often. Well, you got spotted by Ash when you were camping the Raptor camp, and you ended up pathing around the top side of the map. Well, I don't want to go too specific because it's about my strategy, but I try my best to come up with some creative pathings. So I wanted to make a lot of setups, and also I was keeping my eyes on the lanes, so figure out where I can go for a gank. Well, Kana in the previous interview, he said because it's definitely one of the junglers that doesn't really camp in the top lanes, and he hopes to gank top more. I mean, he doesn't really call for ganks. That's why I'm a little bit sad that he stated so. I mean, because other laners calls him a lot, so I just didn't want it to give him the pressure. But I still hope because ganks for me a little bit more. But today I was really happy that he ganked top lane, and also he made great calls, so I was having a very comfortable game. Cause you are the main shot caller of your team, so how was your call overall? We were able to execute some of the calls and plays that we planned during the scrims. And also today, Kana especially was beating down the enemy on Lucian really well. And cause your set was also phenomenal, so let's take a look at the highlights. This was a perfect gank. Every time I always keep in mind where the opponents are at, and I knew that well, Volibear and Thresh was in a far proximity, so I went for that play. And you also neutralized the Ashe ultimate with your ultimate, so was that intended? I mean, I was just looking for the angle for the showstopper, but at the same, well, Mystic used his ultimate at the same time, so that was a lucky shot. T1 is getting back at their best form. So how do the players rate your performance? First, Cuz? Well, we have two stronger teams to face up against, but we are now getting better at executing the plays that we prepared. So based on this performance, we will do our best to secure as many wins possible. Kana, what about you? Compared to the beginning of the summer split, I think now we are showing a little bit more of a stable performance, so we want to keep this kind of form and keep winning the remaining series. So, who's gonna win the T1's MVP belt tonight? Maybe closer? Closer was popping off on Zoe.
카나 선수는
저는 커즈.
What about you, Kana? I want to say Cuz.
생기네요, 또.
커즈 혹시 뭐 다른 생각 있나요?
Cuz, would you like to change your answer?
저를 제 자신을 말할 수는 없으니까.
I cannot vote for myself, so I didn't say it though.
네,
알겠습니다.
저희가 T1 SNS로 확인할게요.
네.
So we'll check out the results on T1's social media. And as you mentioned, you will be facing up against TRX and Taman Gaming next week, but you guys have a week to prepare.
일단 뭐 상대가 누가 오든 간에
Doesn't matter the opponent, we have to focus on our performance and plays.
그런 게 중요하다 생각하고요.
We have to be able to do the performance and the setups that we want to go for.
기대기를 하겠답니다. 사실 다음 상대가 담원이 되면서 최근에
So your
너구리
next
선수가
opponent
한나
will
선수를
be
몰고
Taman
있다
Gaming, and
이런
Naguri said he's keeping his eyes on Kana. So any message over to Naguri, Kana?
저는 너구리 선수 계속 잘한다고.
I always
생각하고
thought
있어요.
that Naguri is such a great player,
너구리 선수 그냥
and
얘기해 본 건 아닌데.
I've never talked to him yet, but I want to get closer to him.
진짜 이상한 게 저희가 무슨 탑 신봉자 이런 이미지가 있어서 그렇지.
Well, I mean, you know, we always think that top laners are tough guys, but we can always realize that players will always want to get together and hang out and become friends in real life. And Cuz, any message over to Kenyon,
선수
your opposing jungler?
잘한다 생각하고요.
I think Kenyon is a great player, and I will
꺾어보고 싶네요.
work really hard to take him down. I really hope so. So this will be the end of the interview with Kanna, Cuz from T1 picking up 2-2 victory up against Afreeca Freecs. So T1 extended their game and match winning streak here in the LCK, and let's check out the new standings in the LCK.
Thank you so much, G-Sun, for the interview translation, as here we are. T1 moved to equal third place with Gen G. Plus 15 for both of them. Afreeca still hold fifth. KT still with a chance to equalize. But I believe there is actually no way that Sandbox can get up there.
Yeah, they're pretty much out. I saw that Yamato posted on Twitter where he's like, yeah, we're out of playoff contention, which is a little bit sad, but I think he did a great thing coming over and turning the Sandbox team from what it was into what it is. And I think they even had some pretty good games today.
Yeah,
against
absolutely.
Gen G,
I think they almost could have won against Gen G, and I think the drafting especially actually looked very, very good.
Yes.
Coming out of Sandbox. I like the creativity, I like the ideas, I like the spamming of Gangplank, because I just like Gangplank. As tomorrow, KT versus Solo and Prince. KT need to win to keep their hopes alive. DRX versus Humble Life will have a result.
Yeah. I mean, DRX have...
they have a lot to prove.
They have a little bit of a history of dropping random games and series to teams that should be way lower than them, so there'll be a chance for them to
consistency test.
Solidify.
DRX, absolutely. And we don't know who it's going to be tomorrow. LS hopefully is going to be feeling better, and then it will be him and I. Otherwise, it'll be us back again, the Valdanalist and the Atlanalist. We're going to go to sleep. We'll see you tomorrow from our LCK.
Changed and I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark, I'd see. You've always believed and have faith in me. You'll always be my